The message arrived at Earth Central Command exactly at midnight. Ambassador Kethrol of the Varaxian Empire stood on the holographic screen, his 4 eyes burning with cold arrogance. Behind him, the massive warships of his fleet stretched into the darkness of space like an endless wall of steel and fire. "You have 7 solar cycles to surrender your entire naval force," Kethrol spoke, his voice echoing through the command center. "Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. The Varaxian Empire does not negotiate. We do not bargain. You will comply, or we will reduce your planet to ash." The human officers in the room exchanged glances. Admiral Chun Wei stood at the center of the command table, her silver hair pulled back tight, her expression showing nothing but calm patience. She had seen wars. She had seen threats. But this was something new. The Varaxian Empire had conquered 47 species across 3 galaxies. Their military technology was considered the most advanced in known space. Their ships could tear through planetary shields like paper. Their soldiers numbered in the trillions. And they wanted humanity's navy. "Ambassador," Admiral Chun spoke clearly, "I will need to consult with my government." "You have 7 cycles," Kethrol repeated. Not a moment more. The transmission ended. The room exploded into chaos. Officers shouted over each other. Data screens flickered with threat assessments and fleet positions. Someone was already calculating the impossible math of their situation. But Admiral Chun remained still. Admiral, her second-in-command, Captain Rodriguez, stepped forward. "We need to mobilize everything. Call back every ship from every sector. If we combine our forces—" "No," Chun said quietly. The room fell silent. "Admiral?" Chun turned to face her officers. There was something in her eyes that none of them had seen before. It was not fear. It was not anger. It was something older. Something that humans had carried with them since the first time they stood against impossible odds. "The Varaxians have made a mistake," she said. "They studied our fleet. They counted our ships. They measured our weapons. But they did not study us." She walked to the main console and pulled up a single file. On the screen appeared the image of a small vessel. It was barely larger than a transport shuttle. Its hull was weathered and scarred from countless missions. On its side, painted in fading letters, was the name, PSV Endurance. "This is Patrol Ship Vessel 217, Chun said, the Endurance. "Currently stationed at the edge of the Outer Rim, running standard border security." "Admiral," Rodriguez said slowly, "that ship is older than I am. It has a crew of 12. Its main weapon is a Class C pulse cannon that most species stopped using 2 centuries ago." "I know," Chun replied. "Send it to meet the Varaxian fleet." The silence that followed was thick enough to cut. Just the Endurance?" someone asked from the back of the room. "Just the Endurance." 3 days later, the PSV Endurance dropped out of hyperspace at the coordinates where the Varaxian Armada waited. Captain Maria Santos stood on the bridge, looking at the tactical display. Her heart should have been racing. Her hands should have been shaking. They were not. She had received her orders directly from Admiral Chun. The message had been short and simple. "Show them who we are." "Captain," her navigation officer, a young man named Thomas, looked up from his screen. I'm counting over 8,000 Varaxian warships. I can see them," Santos replied calmly. "And we're alone." "Yes. Ma'am, with all respect, are we about to die?" Santos turned to look at her small crew. 12 people. 12 ordinary humans who had signed up for border patrol duty, never expecting to face the most powerful military force in the known universe. But none of them looked afraid. None of them asked to turn back. That was the thing about humans that other species never understood. "Open a channel to the Varaxian flagship," Santos ordered. The holographic image of Ambassador Kethrol appeared on the bridge. His 4 eyes widened when he saw the tiny vessel that had arrived to meet him. "Is this a joke?" Kethrol's voice dripped with contempt. We demanded your entire navy, and you sent us this, one ancient patrol boat? Ambassador, Santos spoke clearly. This is the response of the United Earth government to your demands. Catherall stared at her. Then he began to laugh. It was not a pleasant sound. It was the laugh of a predator that had cornered something small and helpless. You humans are either brave or stupid, he said. Perhaps both. Very well. We will destroy your little ship, and then we will destroy your planet. You have made this easy for us. Before you do, Santos said, may I ask you something? Catherall paused, curious despite himself. Speak. Have you ever wondered why humanity has no allies in the galaxy? The question caught Catherall off guard. He had noticed this, actually. Humans were relatively new to interstellar travel, having achieved it only 200 years ago. In that time, they had met dozens of species, yet they had formed no alliances, no treaties. They kept to themselves, trading when necessary, but never truly connecting with the galactic community. I assumed it was because you were weak, Catherall said. Too small to matter. No, Santos shook her head. It is because we are dangerous. Something in her voice made Catherall's confidence waver for just a moment. Dangerous? He gestured at her tiny ship. You? Ambassador, let me tell you a story about my species. 10,000 years ago, we were animals. We had no claws, no fangs, no armor. We were soft, slow, and small. Every predator on our planet could kill us easily. We should have gone extinct. Santos stepped forward, her eyes locked on the alien ambassador. But we did not. Instead, we killed the predators. We killed them all. We hunted creatures 100 times their size until they were gone from the earth. We tamed fire. We tamed metal. We tamed the atom itself. Every challenge that should have destroyed us, we conquered. Every enemy that should have eaten us, we erased from existence. Catherall said nothing. His 4 eyes were fixed on her. Do you know what we call that, Ambassador? We call it being human. We are not the strongest species in the galaxy. We are not the fastest. We are not the smartest. But we are the most stubborn, the most relentless, and the most unwilling to die. She smiled. It was not a friendly smile. You wanted our entire navy. We sent you 1 patrol boat. Do you know why? Because we wanted you to have hope. We wanted you to believe, just for a moment, that you could win. Because when humans fight, we do not fight to survive. We fight to make sure our enemies never threaten us again. At that moment, the sensors on every Varaxian ship began to scream warnings. Catherall rushed to his tactical display. His blood went cold. All around the Armada, hidden in the shadows of nearby asteroids and moons, thousands of signals were appearing. Weapons platforms, orbital cannons, nuclear missiles, antimatter bombs. All of them had been silent, invisible, waiting. And at the center of it all, the tiny patrol boat sat like bait in a trap. The patrol boat was never the attack, Santos said, still smiling. It was the distraction. While you were laughing at us, our weapons were locking onto every ship in your fleet. Catherall's hands were shaking now. You cannot. We spent 200 years preparing for this moment, Ambassador. We knew that one day, someone would come to take everything from us. So we hid our real weapons. We made ourselves look weak. We let species like yours believe you were the hunters and we were the prey. The Endurance began to turn away from the Varaxian fleet. You have a choice now, Santos said. You can leave human space and never return. You can tell your empire that Earth is not worth the cost. Or you can fight. She paused. But understand this. If you fight, not one of your 8,000 ships will survive. Not one of your soldiers will return home. We will not capture you. We will not negotiate. We will destroy you so completely that future generations will wonder if the Varaxian Empire ever existed. Catherall stood frozen on his bridge. Around him, his officers were shouting in panic. The tactical displays showed targeting locks on every single ship. Hundreds of thousands of weapons were aimed at them from every direction. The humans had been waiting for this. They had planned for this. They had turned their entire solar system into a killing ground, and the Varaxians had walked right into it. All because of one old patrol boat. "Ambassador," Santa said, "you have one solar cycle to decide. We will be waiting." The transmission ended. For 6 hours, the Varaxian fleet remained motionless. Kethril sat in his command chair, staring at the darkness of space where human weapons waited with infinite patience. He thought about his empire. He thought about the 47 species they had conquered. Not one of them had fought like this. Not one of them had hidden their strength. Not one of them had been willing to destroy everything rather than submit. Humans were different. Humans were terrifying. When the 7th hour arrived, the Varaxian armada began to move. But they did not move forward. They moved backward. Slowly, carefully, 8,000 warships retreated from human space. Kethril sent one final message before jumping to hyperspace. "This is not over," he said. Captain Santos watched the fleet disappear from her sensors. She let out a long breath and sat back in her chair. Her crew was silent, still processing what had just happened. "Captain," Tomas finally spoke, "did we just win?" Santos smiled. "We did. With one patrol boat. With one patrol boat." Back on Earth, Admiral Chun received the news. The Varaxian fleet was retreating. Not a single shot had been fired. The galaxy would soon learn what had happened here today. They would learn that humanity was not weak. They would learn that humans do not surrender. They would learn that sometimes the smallest ship can carry the largest threat. Chun walked to her window and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Varaxians were running home to tell their emperor about the species that had scared them away with a single old patrol boat. She wondered how many other empires would hear the story. She wondered how many of them would decide that Earth was not worth the trouble. In the end, that was the real human weapon. Not ships, not bombs, not soldiers. It was the simple truth that humans would rather destroy everything, including themselves, than kneel to anyone. And in a galaxy full of predators, that made them the most dangerous species of all. The Endurance returned to its border patrol route 3 days later. Captain Santos filed a mission report that simply said, "Diplomatic contact made. No casualties." Enemy forces withdrew. No one who read the report would understand what those words truly meant. But somewhere in the stars, 8,000 Varaxian soldiers knew exactly what humanity was capable of. And they would never forget.